Hey everyone, welcome back to Get Ready with me, Louise. So again, we're back to the 4 p.m. Palace by Pat McGrath. This one here is called Celestial Divinity Lux Quad FLEUR Fantasia. I think so. Fantasia, yeah. I will say that I actually like this palette. I think it is so pretty, so springy, and summer, but more spring. When I look at this palette, I think of spring. But I truly love it, and I actually like it even as a standalone palette. And I know it would be hard for some people to make it a standalone palette. I do get that, but I do feel like I can get there with it. So let's go ahead and start. And the first shade I'm going to go into is Lotus Paradise, I believe. It would have to be, right? Yeah, Lotus Paradise, if I'm reading the back right. Basically, it's this matte peachy color. Really, that's the only matte in the palette, but I like that. And here's why. Let me make sure I don't have any creases. Just to make sure. Okay. All right. And here's why I like this shade. Because I like to really, like, put it right in the crease. Like, really dark. Like, I really maximize the color payoff right there. And it kind of looks a little bit sharp, like you can see that. But I put it, all of the pigment kind of like right in here to make it look, like I kind of make this shade into two shades almost. You know what I mean? Because like then I blend it out up here. And of course it gets lighter and lighter as you blend. But it almost makes it look like there's two shades there because I really packed that shade in right there. It's almost like when people talk about those, like, one color and done shades. I just like to use this shade as two shades, though, as two things in a sense. Because her shadows are so pigmented that you can do that. You can go in with a very light hand and it almost looks like a second shade, even if it isn't. But that's kind of the way I use this particular color. And it's not very dark, even built up to the max, like, color payoff that you can get out of it. But it is dark enough for my skin tone. And probably dark enough for if you're lighter than me. Now, if you're darker than me, it might not. I don't know. You could definitely probably get it to show by, building the pigment up, obviously. But I don't know how well or anything like that it shows. Honestly, this is probably the darkest I get all year long. I mean, I used to tan, I'm not gonna lie. And then I just, started hearing all the research about tanning ages you, the sun ages you. And not that I didn't know, but I was young and stupid. And self tanning, to me, it just sounds like a lot of time. A lot of time. And if you get it wrong, it can be really bad. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's my journey. I'm wearing that same color right along the lower lash line. So I don't self tan. And I've been really good about sunscreen, to be honest. I'm kind of been proud of myself. I'm really getting into sunscreen and making sure like I wear it every day and everything. Because like I've always been okay with aging. or at least I thought I was okay with aging. Let me rephrase that one. I've always thought I was okay with aging, and I am to a certain degree, you know. But if I can prolong it, or, you know, if you look good for your age, you hear those comments, then I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good, you know? So, I'm fine with that. And I have pretty good genetics. I mean, like when I was younger, 16, 17, 18, you know, those kind of ages, everyone always thought my mother was like my older sister, which used to, it used to get under my skin so bad and annoy me so much when people would say that. I don't know why, but it did. And now I'm kind of glad for it, because that must mean she looked good for her age, number one. And number two, that's genetic, hopefully, and I get that same thing. Or that's my hope anyway. Because here's the thing, I know I'm not doing any kind of surgery, so I'm just going to have to live with my aging process as it comes and do with that as I can. Because I'm a scaredy cat. And I just cannot see me putting that kind of money into it. It's a lot of money. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money for a lot of stuff I do. Even skincare is a lot of money. And makeup's a lot of money. But I don't know. I guess probably it's just more I'm scared, so I just come up with different reasonings on why I won't do something, you know what I mean? Okay, so now I'm going to take the shade Lavender Blue, and I'm going to wet a brush. I am going to wet my brushes on this one because I really want it to like pop. Even though with this particular shade, it's either or. You don't have to really wet your brush. It will go on nicely. And I'm going to start to pat that on my inner part of my lid. I think I took it all the way over my lid, actually, on the other eye. Better do the same thing. I just use my Morphe spray to do that, too. Alright. So I did that first. And then I went back into that peach shade. Sort of but like right here, I think it's a pretty look too, just like that. I really do think that's a pretty look, pretty and simple right there, you know, and you're done. But because I'm showing you the palette, I obviously did a little more. So then what I done was I took this little pencil brush and I went into the shade Iridescent Orchid, and I actually really like this color too. It's like a pink, it's like a pinky shade. It's very flaky. It's one of those shades, and I ran it right on the like close to the lash line here. And I did it kind of slow because I impacted in a sense, and then sort of moved it around because I didn't really want too much fallout. And by doing that, I really didn't get too much fallout just by packing it in there. But I thought that was a really pretty color, like down here. Even though I had that, you know, first peach shade in there. It sort of just, you know, gave it a little bit of color. But then I thought, well, why not take the same, you know, shade and put it in the outer corner here. So I'm gonna spray my brush, because again, I just didn't want to make a mess today, y'all. So I picked the shade up and I started patting it like on my lid. I kept it on the lid. About halfway in. And I thought it was really pretty with this purple. But I think you could have left the purple on your lid or just apply this all over the lid even. And again, when it's 4 shades, it is kind of hard to do a look. Like a cohesive look. Look at it and try to do a cohesive look. I understand that. I have issues with it too. As a beginner. Because I just don't see what makeup artists see. Because I've thought about it, like people that make palettes and stuff and their inspiration behind it. And it does fascinate me. And like I can see, like once they tell me like this is why I did this and this is why I did that, I can then see it. But until they tell me, I just don't see it. I don't know why. But that's a lot of things. I don't see it until I'm like explained it, I guess. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I gotcha. Alright. And I'm trying to blend it in with that previous color. But I don't want it to be like okay. I don't want it to be falling all over my face. I'm trying to make sure I get it even. It's so hard when I'm doing it like this. Because it's a lot of back and forth, back and forth. Okay. I think I got it even. Do I have it even? I think I have it even. And then sometimes I wish, like, you could talk to people while you're doing your makeup and be like, so what do you think should go here? You know what I mean? What is your idea? Alright, I'm going to take the shade that I hadn't used yet, which is Utopia. And I'm just going to barely put that in my inner corner here. Because it kind of is a little too dark for my skin tone, but it is a very pretty color. This may even be really pretty all over the lid with that peachy matte, to be honest. I never thought of that. Okay. I've got, alright. Yeah, lovely. Alright, then what I done was I took a ColourPop liner in Peach Fuzz and I had lined my waterline. And you can barely see it on there, but it's there. I'm assuming you guys can see it. It is there though. But I like this color. There's a couple of them that's like this one, the one avatar, they've got like a yellower one. They're very light, and very brightening to the eye if, you know, if you're interested in that sort of stuff. I really, really like ColourPop's eyeliners. I mean, especially, like, the price point is phenomenal. Alright, then let's go ahead and curl the lashes. Then for top lashes, again, I'm going to use my It Cosmetics Superhero. Pull this up a little closer so I don't make too big of a mess. I'm sure I will mess up. I always do. I know all the rage on this mascara. I hear a lot of people talk about it, how they love this mascara. And I kind of get it. Where they're coming from with it. But I don't think it's my favorite. But I also just recently opened it, so, you know, I want to give it time. And make sure that it's, you know, like, I like it for separating the lashes and really getting in there. I think it's really good for that. And I don't think it smudged on me. So that's a win right there. Alright, we're going to let it go here so that I don't completely mess this look up, because we all know that can happen with me. And again, if you wore false lashes, the look could look even, you know, better. But false lashes and me, I really just need to sit down day after day and just play with them until I get it. But the thing is I've done that before with false lashes and I just couldn't get it. I could never either A, get them to look right on me, or even get them to go on. And then if I did get them to go on, like I said, they didn't look right, but at the same time, it would take me like 30 minutes to get them on. One eye. So who has that kind of time, you know? But this is the final look using that palette. Again, it's the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad FLEUR Fantasia. So if you have this palette, I mean, I think it's a great palette to pull out for spring and summer, for sure. Like, I really do. I think it's such pretty colors, and this is the final look. I did use every shade out of the palette. I do think there is a couple of different ways you could take the look if you wanted to. But I think any way you took the look, it is going to be a light look, no matter how you do it. So, but for spring or a quick look, but you want to pop of something, or you want something pretty or sparkly, or if you just want to feel a little bit bougie, so to say, because I'm not gonna lie, I get feels when I play with my Pat McGrath palette. I mean, just holding this little palette here, I get some sort of feel for it, you know? It makes me feel, well, A, they're expensive. Let's get that. I mean, they can range anywhere from, I think it was like at one point $56 to $65, somewhere in those price points. So they can be quite pricey. So, for foreshadows, mind you. So, it's like, man, I worked hard for that, you know? Like, I like that. It feels good, you know? And then, of course, to have a part of her creation and the thought process she put behind it, you know, depending on how much you want to know about a palette, you know what I mean? If you look into why she creates, why she creates what she created. So I find that fascinating. But anyway, I'll let you go. This is the final look using that palette. Again, if you can get your hands on it, I think it's really great for this time of year. But that is all I have for you today. I will see you tomorrow in another video on another 4-pan McGrath palette. Bye.